All right, so the activity that we're going to be starting with today and actually continuing the next couple of class periods is going to be involving Gary the Rock and Mary the Water Droplet. If you can recall the last couple of class periods, whenever we've had a definition, I've been kind of pushing this idea that I'd like you to write it in terms that a kindergartner would be able to understand. The reason why I've been asking you to write it in kindergarten friendly language is to give you some practice, because what you are going to be doing with Larry and Mary is writing a story for the kindergartners here at ASD. You've got to write a story explaining how Larry starts as whatever type of rock you'd like. If you want it to start as an igneous rock, you've got to explain how Larry, or whatever I just said, Gary gets from being an igneous rock and changes into the other two rock types before coming back into his original shape or original rock type. Same thing with Mary the Water Droplet. You're going to be writing a story about Mary starting as a puddle and going up through the entire water cycle and coming back eventually back to the puddle in which she started. For Gary, the story itself needs to be, well, both of them need to be entertaining. Keep in mind you are writing this for a kindergarten audience, so you want to make it at least interesting so they don't fall asleep with it. I'll give you more information about that, the story and what's to be expected when I'm back in class. To be able to start with this story, we're going to do a very short activity. Well, shortish. It's going to take probably the remainder of the class period. But what's going to happen is it's going to give you a couple of good ideas, possibly even give you the storyboard that you will need for your story. So the way that it works is this. The document that we have is the rock cycle document, a rock cycle journey. It looks something like this. And there are two parts to it. You've got this pink part with Larry. Oh, I guess Larry is the rock. Cool. And then you have this blue part that deals with Mary the Water Droplet. And so half of the class is going to be divided into the rock cycle group. So that's the section that you're going to do first. The other half of the class is going to be starting with the water cycle group. The water cycle section. And then once you are done with that particular section, you can switch. And if you did the water, you can then do the rock. If you did the rock, you can do the water. It'll make a little sense once we get through it. So the very first thing you have to do with your table is look at these couple of vocab words up at the top. Same thing with the water cycle. There are a couple of vocab words as well. Most of them we've defined. A couple of them, like aquifer, glacier, and groundwater, we haven't gone through yet, so you may have to use the Googles to figure out how those things, what the definition of those are. So what I want you to do first is to explain how this particular process would change a rock. So you would say for weathering, it helps to break rocks down into sediment pieces. The second thing that you've got to do, the second column then, is to tell me what type of rock this whole process would help to form. So weathering would be the first stages in then creating a sedimentary rock. I'd like you to do that with all of those. There could be more than one rock type which this process helps to form, like heat, for example, could be found for a number of different ones. So you do have to keep in mind what those would be. Same thing with the water cycle. If you're starting with the water cycle, the exact same questions. How does this affect water? And what I mean by that is it basically going to be staying in the same state, or will it be changing state? And then you just have to tell me what the state of the matter is that it becomes. So once you've done that, then you get on to the activity portion, which is going to involve dice and different stations around the class that look like this. There's something for Earth's interior, mountains, oceans, etc., etc. So all these pink ones are going to be for the rocks. All the blue ones are going to be the ones for the waters. And again, you'll be doing both eventually. So the way this activity works is you start off by choosing any random location for your particular type. I'm going to start with Earth's interior for the rock cycle. So the first thing I have to do is write Earth's interior, just like that. And when I'm at that particular station, there's going to be some dice there. You just need to take one dice, you roll it. Let's say, for example, Mr. H rolls a 2. So if I look at what the key tells me to do, it says, all right, well, magma is going to be forced upwards, and the next station that I have to go to, I have to go and find the station for a volcano. So I'd first have to go here and say magma is forced upwards, and then go to the volcano. So then I'll have to wander around the room to find the volcano section. Let's see, it'll look something like this. There it is. And I'll have to roll the dice there. And whatever happens, let's say I get a 1. It says volcano erupts, spewing forth lava, go to the mountains. So same thing, you're just going to get lava, spit out, go to the mountains. So the next one would be mountains. And you keep going for a number of different rounds. Sometimes it tells you that you have to stay put at the same location, which is fine. And again, this is just to help illustrate the different changes that can happen to rocks. Sometimes it'll be kind of boring, in fact, but other times it could move you through the different rock types. If it happens that I guess it's possible that you actually end up with the getting through all the different rock types. You could use this as your storyboard when it comes time to writing your Larry story if you wanted. But at the very least, you do need to try to get done with 12 rounds. If you get done with this one, the rocks, whoever was done with the rocks, then you can go over and start working on the water. The water has the same thing down below. And their stations, again, we said are blue. And you just do the exact same things. You choose this location to begin, tell what happens to you, and then you roll and just write out what exactly is going to be happening to you each time. So those are the activities that you are going to do for the rest of the class period. Again, I will be back on, the next class period. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I will try to answer your emails. We will be working on this for the next couple of class periods, including writing the actual story, and I'll give you more information once I get back next class period. So good luck and Godspeed. Okay.